Aloha, and welcome to another edition of Living Authentically Out Loud. Adena Sampson here. And today's topic, all you need is love. That's right. Receiving love, actually. So my question of the day for you is, how comfortable are you in receiving love? When it comes to your closest relationships, do you feel loved by those around you? Do you see yourself as a lovable person? Do you feel worthy of the love of others? You know, most of us are really good at giving love, but perhaps not so skilled in opening up and receiving it, right? Does it sound familiar? So not being able to receive love is really a major cause for many of the frustrations that we face when we relate to others, right? When we relate in our relationships. So we are really offered no greater opening to know the truth of who we really are than in our relationships, friendships, intimate relationships especially. You know, relationships are really powerful catalysts because they mirror the aspects we need most revealed in ourselves for our soul growth. What we see and react to in another, we possess within ourselves, right? So abandonment, rejection, withdrawal, these kinds of fears prevent us from extending and receiving love. And they only cause us to reject and abandon ourselves, really, right? And the only real pain we ever really feel seems to stem from when we withhold our love, withholding our love. So somehow, somewhere along the lines, we have been conditioned, right, with these wrong beliefs that prevent us from receiving love. One of which, you know, we've been taught that it's prideful to think highly of ourselves, and that, you know, and that's why we don't really openly receive compliments, right, and all the other expressions of love. Instead, we turn away from it, and we respond in all different types of ways, right, not knowing that we are actually rejecting the very love that is being given to us. So be aware of how you respond to others when they are showing love to you. Do you deflect compliments when you get them? Do you get gifts and then feel obligated? You know, each time this happens, we respond in a manner that says, please don't show me love, I'm unable to receive it. Is that really the message you want to send out? Is it? Here's a quick story, and I think it's really important to share my personal experiences, and so I'm going to go ahead and do so in this blog. But I remember specifically about, do you deflect compliments, okay? About 5 years ago, this was really important. This was actually a business partner of mine, a business relationship. And I remember we got done with the presentation or something or somewhat, and we were discussing at the end of it, and he went ahead and he gave me a really wonderful compliment at the time, okay? And yet he noticed it wasn't well received on my part. Now, it's not that I don't like compliments or that I wasn't aware that he was giving, but at that moment, 5 years ago, I had a hard time receiving compliments. Actually, for many years I did. And he had noticed so, and he also went out of his way to let me know. He said, you know, Adena, I have to let you know that I just gave you a compliment, and I noticed that you weren't really receiving it. And he did it in the most loving, gracious, nicest way, but he really went ahead to tell me that, you know, I need to take a look at that because it's important that compliments are well received, and not only that do I believe that I deserve this compliment. So I have to say that was a huge turning point in my life when he pointed this out to me. And since then, I've learned to say thank you and accept compliments oh so graciously. Yet I'm still on the path to learning how to receive. So many of us are. Once again, life is like waves. You work on something, you move through it, and sometimes we have a little sliver of glass that comes back up that wasn't quite looked at, and so we reevaluate that. So I'm still on the path. I'm still growing just like you, and all of us are. So let's just understand that our relationship with love is mirrored in our external world in the way people respond to our love, right? So now you know why the ones whom you love and desire to express love can't seem to receive your love. It's mainly because we, right, you can't receive love yourself. And we've talked about loving ourselves so many times, but there's so many layers, so many facets, right? So the most important thing that we learn is to allow ourselves to be loved by ourselves and others, right? The most important thing that we learn is to allow ourselves to be loved. So, do you feel uncomfortable, possibly, for giving something to yourself, perhaps? Do you feel uncomfortable asking for nurturing? A few more questions I'd like to throw out here. And this is where I really become very honest with you, from my heart to yours. Another story of mine. So, once again, I just asked you if you felt uncomfortable giving things to yourself. And maybe do you feel uncomfortable asking for things, asking for nurturing, asking for support? I do. So even though for years I've been working on learning how to receive, and I've done so much better, and that my life really truly reflects that in the support and the friends that I have around me, I recently have found that there's still a part of this in me that needs to be healed. And I think it's important that I share with you my journey so you can really look into your journey, because we are not alone here. You are not alone. And this part of myself that needs to be healed has really come up in my intimate relationship currently. You know, I was single for many, many years, did very well, once again, high confidence in many levels, but when you get into intimate relationships, wow, it really hits you to the core. It allows you to see, if you're willing, and you go through the growth, the possibilities and what's left to be healed. And in the last few weeks, it's really hit home to me. This little piece is really a big piece. And even though it's a little piece, it's really a huge stepping stone for me. You know, I still find myself having a hard time asking other people to support me. And in the past, too, recently, in the last few weeks, you know, I also found myself that when I did ask, and assistance was offered, I would have a hard time accepting or decline their offer because I didn't want to burden them. I don't want to bother people. I find myself saying that a lot. I find myself apologizing when I'm asking for support, or for my weakness and my vulnerability, or what I think of as weakness and vulnerability, which really is strength, right? To show others that vulnerable side of yourself. So, you know, I guess you could say that I was really afraid of being loved, right? Scared of losing control, right? I've become, and I have become so used to feeling independent and alone that I've really been feeling scared, right? To opening up to love, and for love to care for me. And it's weird because I've never been a person to say that I am scared, but I have been this little girl inside of myself that needs to be held. And it's okay to be held, but in some way, shape, or form, even though my conscious mind understands what I want and where I'm going, and absolutely I'm able to receive, some part of my subconscious, inner child, old stuff, has held on to the belief that I can't have it all, has held on to the belief that it's not okay to ask to be held, or in some way if I need to be held, or that I love too much or care for someone too much, that in some way is a weakness. And in this way, I've just really opened up a huge part of myself that was closed off to really the love and support that I'm truly, truly craving. So, wow. So that's my truth, and now I invite you to take a good look at your truth, and how in some part in your life, in what way are you deflecting love. I also invite you to take a good look at your children. As I've always said, our children are our best teachers, right? They are experts at receiving love because they accept what is said at face value, right? They ask for help when they need it. They offer compliments without a thought. And they view receiving love as a part of the natural flow. And they do so because it is, right? And so it is. All you need is love. That's what each and every one of us needs. But once again, it comes from the inside out. So open yourself up right now to receiving love by allowing others the joy of loving you. Give them the gift of loving you. How's that? If you're a giver, give them the gift of loving you. Learn how to receive much love, light, and aloha. Until next time, please visit www.outloudproductions.tv, where we offer a safe place for you to live in your truth. Namaste.